Hello to every car guy or gal who's found this video today, showcasing what we think is certainly one of the best preserved vintage cars we've ever seen. Then, factor in that it's still in the possession of the original purchaser, and it's a performance car from the classic muscle car era, and a Mustang to boot. And you've got what is the perfect combination for an intriguing story about a man who's lovingly preserved this classic Mustang. Be sure to like the video and share it with anyone that'll appreciate this cool car. And please let us know what you think about this first generation original pony car. Also, let us know what your first car was and if you still own it. But now, let's get to checking out this beautiful Mach 1.
My name is Mark Nowery, and I own a 1973 Ford Mustang Mach 1. And the greatest story of that car really was its original purchase, which was by my father on August 28th, 1973. Dad, who, by the way, was an insurance agent, wanted me to have a safe car to drive from Shreveport, Louisiana, where we lived, to Southern California, where I was going to be attending the Art Center College of Design to become a car designer, hopefully with one of the big three in Detroit. And so we were looking at all sorts of cars in Shreveport. In 1973, that included things like Firebirds, Camaros, Mustangs. There was a Plymouth Duster, I believe, that we looked at. And to make the long story shorter, we did go to a dealership, Bill Hanna Ford, that was across the river from Shreveport in a little town called Bossier City, Louisiana. Bill Hanna Ford had quite a nice inventory. There was this red Mach 1 that was sitting inside the dealer showroom that I was just, I loved, but I knew darn well that my dad was not going to, foot a bill for a Mach 1. So I had put that out of my mind entirely. But we did wander around out in the lot, and we found a 73, bright red. It had white letter tires on it, which made it look a little bit like a Mach 1, but let's face it, it was just a basic Mustang. Had a white interior, but it was pretty. I liked it, and so I remember the Monroney price on it was $4,138, $4,138. And my dad said, "Yeah, I think we can handle that. That's good. Do you like that car?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's a great car. I like it." So sure enough, he went inside the dealership there in Bossier City and was talking to the dealer. And by this time, the Mach 1 that had been sitting inside the showroom, they had moved it. They had turned it around such that the price tag was on my side to be viewed. And sure enough, I'm just waiting there. I decided, let's just go see what the price is on it. So I wandered over, and the price on it was $4,141, $4,141 versus the $4,138 that was on the car that was out on the lot. So I went and tugged on my dad's sleeve, and I said, "Well, could you come over here for a second?" And so he did. And as the insurance agent that he was, he obviously knew that he was going to, he wasn't going to be doing any Mach 1 stuff, none of this high performance stuff. But he looked at it and he said, "Well, $3 difference. What's the difference here?" He says, "It's got the same engine that the one out, So again, long story short, that was the history. But I will never forget what my father said when he realized that these were basically two of the exact same cars, but one was a Mach 1. He said to me, "Well, would you rather have a Mach 1? And I will never forget that. That was the greatest. I said, oh my God, as a 17-year-old kid, that was...
let me think.
Yeah, let me think. No, I said, God, yeah, I love this. Now, granted, it didn't have some of the options that the car out on the lot had, but I didn't care. I was all about the exterior look anyway. And so that was the story. And interestingly, it was a Ford Motor Company product, which I drove to college out in Pasadena, California, where I attended the Art Center College of Design, and I got a job offer from Ford Motor Company and became a stylist for Ford. So it had a lot of significance in that respect.
Okay, say hi to Mark.
Hi there. And I don't know whether you would want to see this, but because of the extreme angle of the sport roof roof line, that's a huge piece of glass, but when I look at it through here, it's about that tall. The amount of glass that I got.
Yeah, it does have quite an angle.
Dirty right now, but it's so angled and flat that
really appreciate you bringing her out today.
Oh, sure. No, I'm glad you made me do it, because it needs to get out and be driven more.
I made him do it.
Yeah. You made me do it.
By asking him.
Car is pretty much even after 50 years. I would say it's about 75% original paint. But when I was in California, someone backed into the rear quarter of it in a parking lot. The paint job on that was, I wish they had feathered it in, but they instead painted the entire fender right up to the door. And so if in the right lighting conditions, you can see a little bit of a difference in paint color. I also was on the Hollywood. It was the very last day I was going to be in California. I was heading back to Louisiana from my schooling. I had gotten my job offer from Ford, and a car on the Hollywood freeway slammed on its brakes in front of me, and I was praying that it wouldn't hit something in front of it, but it did, and I slammed into the back of it. Fortunately, not at real high speed, but it was enough to have to do some work. But it's never been fully restored. It's very much a survivor. The engine it's a 351 Cleveland.
All these little details of, they won't care. It's a little dirty. You drive it. That's the beautiful part of it.
Yeah. When I moved from California, Louisiana and California to Michigan. That was a pretty major change of lifestyle as far as weather is concerned, and I knew darn well that I could not take that car out on the salty roads. So I was very, very grateful that I had the ability to set the car into storage during those salty winters. The car was always very, very important to me from a stylistic standpoint. I remember one time one of my teachers was a fairly, quite a famous design guy by the name of Strother McMinn. And Strother McMinn came up to me and he said, "You know that car of yours, that red Mach 1?" He said, "That thing is really beautiful." He says, "I've seen it outside. I've seen you driving it occasionally, and I want you to know that is that's a very significant piece of design." And he said, "You're very lucky to be driving that." And so these kinds of things always made me think, yeah, I just hang on to it. So and it was also my father's in homage, to my father, who he did pass away in 1991. And I still love the fact that I have those memories of the car, and that it's still in very nice running condition. Still has its original air conditioning because it was a Louisiana car that came through New Orleans, and I knew darn well that that I had to have air conditioning, and the air still works just great. It's been a very good car all these years, and I always laugh, and it's, believe it or not, it's still there. I laugh about the fact that inside the door jambs, I thought, well, from a security standpoint, just in case the car ever gets stolen, I'm going to scratch my initials into the paint on the inside of the door jambs, and sure enough, I did. MBN, and on both door jambs, both the B pillar area. And I have to laugh because it has not rusted, but they are still there, right down to the sheet metal. But I love the fact that it is so, it's such a family member. That's what I love about the car. And I assume, that I will have it on the very day I die. It'll be part of the family. So, but thank you all for caring enough